Advaitam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gauravakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, welcome all to this morning session. So today we'll talk about this topic on benefits of hearing about Krishna. Just share the sloka. Okay, you're all able to see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So we talk about the Navavida Bhakti, which starts with Shravanam. So Shravanam is about to hear. Shravanam means to hear. But what are we hearing is the most important aspect. So this sloka tells you what is the benefits of hearing about the holy name or about Lord Krishna. Now, once when Shravanam is very clear in our heart, slowly we have to become addicted to Shravanam. So, how Shravanam should get addicted? We should make it a habit to hear from pure souls, starting with Srila Prabhupada. So, we have to hear Bhagavad Gita from them. Now, several times we think, Prabhuji, I've already heard this. I already know about this particular chapter, this sloka. Why should I hear again? No, for some reason, let's assume that we are scholarly on a particular sloka. Still, by hearing from Srila Prabhupada, the mercy and the purity is so intense that it will remove all the anarthas and kleshas from our heart and put us back in path of devotion in a very steady state. So that's why it's important to hear from great souls. Now I am regularly hearing, Prabhuji, my Shravanam is excellent. Now you have to retrospect on yourself. Okay, after hearing, what are you doing? Are you reflecting on your consciousness? Are you changing your attitude, your activities, your thoughts? Are you a new person? Has devotion in your heart increased? Has your realization about Krishna an ability to do other 9 processes, the other balance 8 steps of devotion properly? Is the key. If you keep hearing and not follow through with other aspects of devotion, then your hearing there is a problem. Either the language is not clear, either you're hearing with attentive ears but inattentive mind, or you're hearing without faith. So there could be finer issues that need to be fine-tuned. When Shravanam is followed by proper action on the platform of Bhakti Yoga, that Shravanam will be the cause of transformation in our heart. So that is very, very important. So that's why I picked this verse today to help us understand the benefits of hearing about Sri Krishna. Okay? We will read it and then we will see what Prabhupada is trying to say here. This is from Canto 2 of Srimad Bhagavatam, Chapter 2, Text 37. Pibanti ye bhagavata atmana satam katam ritam shravana puteshu samritam punanti te vishaya vidushita shayam vrajanti tacharana saroru hankitam. Pibanti. Pibanti is who drinks. We generally drink so many things in our life. But the acharyas are recommending to drink the nectar of Bhagavatam. So Pibanti is who drink. Ye, those. Bhagavataha, the personality of Godhead. That means who drink about leelas, pastimes, slokas, information, everything about the personality of Godhead. Atmanaha, they become very dear. Satam, of devotees. That means out of all the devotees, the one who drinks this, it becomes more dearer. Kathamritam, the nectar of the messages. Amritam is nectar. Katha means story. The nectar of messages. Shravana putesu. So with ear holes. So within the ear holes means, instead of just saying with ears, he says within the ear means, he's talking about attentive ears. Attentive ears means application of mind so that you're processing every word that you're hearing. Okay? Samritam, fully filled. Punanti, purifies. It purifies one's life. Vishaya, material enjoyment. Vidushita ashayam, polluted aim of life. What is polluted aim of life? You used to have many material goals and running after them meaninglessly and unlimitedly. That is called polluted aim of life. And interacting on this material plane on unwanted topics and unwanted activities. Okay, that is called Vidushita Shayam. Okay. Vrajanti, do go back. The Lord's Charana is feet. Saroruha Antikam, near the lotus. That means they go and live near the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, now let's see the translation. Those who drink through oral reception, that is Shravanam. Oral means audio. So those who drink through oral reception, fully filled with nectarian message of Lord Krishna, the beloved of the devotees, purify the polluted aim of life known as material enjoyment, and thus go back to Godhead, to the lotus feet of him. That means refers to Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. So this is what this Bhagavad Gita is trying to tell us. It is telling, just by hearing the Leela, the pastimes, the nectarian verses of the Lord, one's heart is completely purified of material consciousness, and they are ready to go back home, back to Godhead. Who's the best example of Shravanam? Parikshit Maharaj. When he started to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami, he was not worried about breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He was not worried about any other aspects of his kingdom or material activities. With one pointed attention, day and night, 7 days of Srimad Bhagavatam, he heard. He purified his consciousness. He was so purified that even before the snake, the Takshaka, came to bite him, he liberated himself. So he is the best example of Shravanam. By Shravanam, one can get liberated. But Shravanam should follow through with change of consciousness. That can happen only when the oral reception or hearing is done with attention and application of mind. Let's look at the purport. The sufferings of human society are due to polluted aim of life. So polluted aim of life. What is polluted aim of life? We have so many material desires. I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. This should be completed, that should be completed. We think we are indispensable. We think we are the only one who can complete it. What we fail to understand is the material nature is run by the Lord himself. Created, maintained, and destroyed. Trigunya Avatar. So, what we should understand is whether I am there or not there, the activities, all the activities in this material plane will go on. But our first illusion is we think we have to be there to do it. So hence, we unwantedly take on so many material activities on us. A rich man also is doing the same thing. A rich man, if he retires, let's assume, he'll have enough money for the rest of his life. But still he thinks he has to work. That's why it's called suffering from the polluted aim of life, namely lording it over material resources. I am the controller. The more human society engages in the exploitation of undeveloped material resources for sense gratification. What is undeveloped material resources? So, for example, fossil fuel is an undeveloped material resource. When it is taken, converted to a useful form, the people of this material world, they engage that in various activities. So fossil fuel is a basic example. You take like that, so many examples are there. People today, they break mountains to get stones to decorate whatever activities they want. Today, people break or destroy forest in order to convert into material resources in the useful form. The more they do that, the more they will be entrapped by the illusionary material energy of the Lord. And thus the distress of the world will be intensified instead of diminished. See? The statement here is very simple. What it says is, the more and more we start to depend on the material energy of the Lord, the more and more we get dependent on it, entangled onto it. We will not be able to come out. Unwantedly, we will be present in so many places, so many forums, so many activities. And trying to solve what? Look at the number of people in this world today. There are billions of people. Everyone is justifying their activity and trying to solve something. What are they trying to solve? Nothing. Prakrute kriyamanani gunai karmani sharvashaha. The material illusion, the three energies, are spread like a carpet on this entire world. And it is the cause of all the activities. What do we think? Oh, My presence in this material world is very important, and I have to do it, and we keep on doing it. The human necessities of life are fully supplied by the Lord in the shape of food grains, milk, fruit, wood, stone, sugar, silk, jewels, cotton, salt, water, vegetables, etc. And that how much? So much quantities to feed and care for the human race of the world, as well as the living beings on each and every planet within the universe. See, there are so many resources the Lord created, but we are just going on exploiting that resource rather than using those resources in service and pleasure of the Lord. So what will happen? Mother Earth will withdraw. When Mother Earth keeps on, she tolerates for a certain period of time. When Mother Earth keeps saying, okay, this human race, they just want these resources from me, but they do not want to use these resources in service of the Supreme Lord. So why should I give these resources? She withdraws. First thing she'll withdraw is probably the fossil fuel. The second thing she'll withdraw is all these other minerals, other rich resources in this world. Then she'll withdraw the fruits that are coming out of the trees. Then she'll withdraw the grains that are coming out of the paddy fields. So like that, she'll start to withdraw. When she starts to withdraw, the human race, they get into a difficult situation. They struggle. They don't know what to do. That is when there'll be more commotion and more difficulties in this material world. So as far as the mercy of the Acharya, as far as the mercy of the Supreme Lord exists in this Kali Yuga during this golden age, the withdrawal may not happen or may happen in a very, very slow pace. So that is a great opportunity and time that exists for the living entities to perfect their consciousness. If the living entity misses the opportunity during this time, then it becomes difficult. That's what it's trying to say. The supply source is complete and only a little energy by the human being is required to get his necessities into a proper channel. There is no need of machines and tools or huge steel plants for artificially creating comforts of life. Life is never made comfortable by artificial needs, but by plain living and high thinking. This is what, here the plain living means reduce your material activities to the lowest level and keep on increasing your spiritual activities and greater thought process on the pastimes and service and activities of the Lord. That's what high thinking means. The highest perfectional thinking of human society is suggested by Sukadeva Goswami here because he's speaking Bhagavatam. Namely, sufficiently hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. For men in this age of Kali, when they have lost the perfect vision of life, this Srimad Bhagavatam is a torchlight by which to see the real path. So, if you hear the 6 questions asked by the sages of Naimisharanya to Sutta Goswami, out of the 6 questions, the last question was, okay, when Krishna was there, he is Dharma personified. From him came all aspects of Dharma. Dharmam tu Shakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Okay, now Krishna has left the world. He's gone back to his abode. So, what did Dharma do? What did Dharma do? Where does it take shelter? So, Sutta Goswami addresses that. After Sri Krishna left, Krishna, in the entire time period of one Chaturviga, he keeps on manifesting the process of avatar. in different forms, like Matsya Avatar, Kurma Avatar, Parashurama Avatar. So like that, in different avatars, which is either portion, he himself as Swayam Bhagavan as Krishna, or portion of his energies, or Shakti Aveshwar avatars. In different ways, the Lord manifests. Why the Lord manifests? Because the Lord will have to ensure that Dharma is reinstated. The Lord has to ensure that people are able to realize Him and go back to Him, and many things. So, in Kali Yuga, when Lord left the last stages of Dwapara Yuga, so after Kali Yuga was born, and this conversation is happening in Kali Yuga. So in Kali Yuga, when they're asking, where has Dharma has taken shelter of? He said, the Lord reincarnated in the form of sound and literacy or literature. And that literature is Srimad Bhagavatam. So Dharma took shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam. When Dharma itself can take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, why not us? We also should take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam at all points in our life. And not to take shelter of any of these material activities, thinking that they will solve our life. That is the point here. For the men in this age of Kali, when they have lost the perfect vision of life, this Srimad Bhagavatam is a torchlight by which to see the real path. Srila Jiva Goswami, Prabhupada, has commented on the Kathamritam mentioned in this verse and has indicated Srimad Bhagavatam to be the nectarian message of the personality of Godhead. By sufficiently hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, he uses the word sufficiently. What is sufficiently? If you hear, let's say, chapter 1 of Canto 1, have you understood it? Not, again here. That is the point. Are you very clear on the message? Are you going to follow through it? By sufficiently hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, the polluted aim of life, namely lording it over matter. I want to control this material world. What is the meaning of I want to control this material world? Whatever material activities we are performing, we want to perfect it so that, just at a click of my sound, or just at vision of mine, one word of mine, that material activity should perform. Right? So generally, as we become bosses of this world, I am the CEO, I am the head of this institution. We try to do this through the process of automation, through the process of systems, people. One word, everything should work. So this is called lording it over material world. Everything that is material, I'm trying to control. Okay. Will subside, and the people in general of all the parts will be able to live peacefully of knowledge and bliss. For a pure devotee of the Lord, any topics in relation with his name, fame, quality, entourage, etc., are all pleasing. Because such topics have been approved by great devotees like Narada, Hanuman, Nanda Maharaj, and other inhabitants of Vrindavana, certainly such messages are transcendental and pleasing to hear, pleasing to heart and soul. And by constantly hearing the message of Bhagavad Gita and later of Srimad Bhagavatam, one is assured here by Srila Sukadeva Goswami that will reach the personality of Godhead and render him transcendental loving service in the spiritual planet of the same Goloka Vrindavana, which resembles a huge lotus flower. Thus, by the process of Bhakti Yoga, directly accepted as suggested in this verse, by sufficiently hearing of the transcendental message of the Lord, the material contamination is directly eliminated without once attempting to contemplate the impersonal Virat. See, this Virat Rupa, which is called Vishwarupa, the Lord demonstrates that to Arjuna. Now, why is the presence of Virata Rupa shown here or discussed? For people who are more materialistic in nature, more atheistic in nature, who cannot accept someone supreme, they think everything that is happening in this world is based on certain solar and mathematical calculations. They don't accept the Supreme Lord's presence. Now, what you should understand is, when an object like Earth is floating, there are many, many objects that are floating around the sun, right, which are called the planets. So Earth is one of the planet. Now, I'll just take an example of two planets who are in relation. An Earth takes 365 and a quarter days or 1 year to complete one orbit around the sun. Okay? The last planet in this solar system, the Pluto, it also rotates around the sun and completes an orbit. The distance of Pluto is so much that Pluto takes 248 Earth years to complete one orbit. Now see the distance. I don't know. We have to do some light year calculation to understand the distance of Pluto on Earth. This is so far from the Earth. And still it is following its orbit without deviation. Now look at this supreme force on the activities of the solar system in a very, very systematic, methodical manner. So these things clearly tell us there is Supreme who's controlling the activities of the material world. Now, what does the Supreme do? He once a while, he comes and shows himself, darshan, to us so that we know him. Once we know him, what we can do? We can establish sambandha jnana. We can establish our relationship with him. Once we establish relationship with him, what happened? We perform certain activities on the established platform of relationship. That relationship and activities leads to one's purification of the heart. And one's purification of the heart will make them to fall in love through that relation, in that relationship to that Supreme Bhagavan. So this is the purpose. And that's what the message, the process of Bhakti Yoga is trying to tell us. So, in order for us to make that sambandha, to make the relationship with the Supreme Lord, you have to first know the details of this material nature, the details of the Supreme Lord, his name, form, activities, his guna. What is he? So, for us to know that Supreme Lord, he himself manifests into this earthly planet and showers his mercy on us. So when he showers his mercy on us, he's trying to tell us, these are the methods to connect with me. He is the one, the propounder of the Vedas. He is the one who's telling us, how do you connect with me? What are the things that you do? And that's exactly what has been mentioned here. So we just simply take that knowledge and start practicing and implementing in our life. That will eradicate the material conception of life and bring us onto the platform of spiritual thought. So we'll never become a pseudo-devotee. What is a pseudo-devotee? We look like devotees, but we are not devotees. So look at this message. In one purport, Prabhupada at least tells several times about hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Again and again. So, this is the power of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, let's summarize. What all happens when you hear Srimad Bhagavatam? Each of you can mention one point.
Oral hearing, Prabhu, helps us to change our consciousness.
Okay. So oral hearing change your consciousness. What else?
Our anarthas will go, Prabhu.
Our anarthas will go, our kleshas will go. Okay, then what happens?
Senses are purified.
Senses are purified, including the mind. Okay, then
We can get out of material enjoyment.
we can get rid of material enjoyment. Why? Because we will understand that this material enjoyment is very, very small, very, very tiny, like a mustard, compared to the bliss enjoyed in association of Krishna. Okay. What else? What else is power of Shravana?
Our taste for the our taste increases for the Lord, Prabhu.
Our taste increases for the Lord. Okay. Anything that you want to perform to the Lord keeps on increasing. Okay.
Continuous Shravanam will take you to our Bhakti Yoga.
Okay. Shravanam will increase your practices of bhakti. Okay. Good. Can you hear from others who have not spoken?
Increases love towards the God more, Prabhuji.
Okay. It increases love towards God. Okay. Why does it increase love towards God? Shravanam?
Shravan.
Why does it increases love towards God?
When we hear the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we
Yeah,
know
it
about
increases. But why?
it increases by
Mataji, the question is, when you hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, it increases love of Godhead.
yes,
Answer is correct. But why?
but because we know about the more information about Lord Krishna, Prabhuji,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
we try to practice it more.
Correct. That's the most important aspect. Okay, good. Others? Many people are to speak.
Prabhuji,
It
changing
purifies
our
our thoughts,
attitude,
Prabhu.
changing our attitude
Attitude.
after
One.
hearing Shravanam, we try to change our attitude towards the Lord, Supreme Lord.
Okay.
Prabhuji.
So materialistic thoughts go away and spiritual thoughts manifest. Okay, good.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yes, Radhika Mataji.
It purifies our thoughts, Prabhu.
Okay, it purifies what?
Thoughts, thinking
Thoughts from where?
about any material things. So we have to change our attitudes. That's
Yeah.
what Prabhuji told.
So it purifies our material thoughts and makes us to become more spiritual thought in nature.
Yes.
Okay, good. Others? So how many times Shravanam I should do in a day?
Continuous.
Continuous? No, I told another point.
Hearing the same thing again and again.
Till we understand, Prabhu.
Okay, let's assume we understood. What do we do?
We should follow it, Prabhu.
Should
Implement it.
practice. Yes, yes. After practicing, what we should do?
We should to continue practicing. We should not stop.
We should
Contemplate.
contemplate.
Contemplate what?
How is this learning helping us in other 9 processes? Grow
Yes,
in other
yes.
9?
Am I making progress? Is there a change of consciousness for me? Or am I hearing, practicing, but continue to do the same material activities? What am I doing? That contemplation is very important. Right? So you should hear Shravana minimum once a day. Okay? 45 minutes, 1 hour. And we should practice, and we should contemplate whether my practices and hearing are matching. Is there a change of consciousness? Okay, you can introspect, or you can ask your other devotee, Mataji, have I changed in this? Is there a difference in what am I doing? So that feedback you can take, 360 feedback. That feedback will tell you, are you changing or not? Otherwise, you may be in illusion. Oh, I've heard, I know, I'm like in the state of samadhi. I'm like a guru now, I'm this, I'm that. We may start to think, and that's the nature of the mind. It concocts, it makes up its own theories, which is not true. Okay? So, Shravanam minimum once a day. Practice of what I heard in Shravanam. Third, introspection. Contemplate. Am I making progress towards what is spoken in Shravanam? If these three things are done, then we progress in Bhakti Yoga. If these three things are not done, so let's assume we do Shravanam. Full day, 8 hours I do Shravanam. But no practice, no contemplation. What happens? What happens?
It's waste.
It purifies, but you see there's no transformation. Correct, Mataji? Because Shravana will purify, but transformation is not happening. Okay? What are other issues? Only Shravanam and not doing anything else.
No progress, Prabhu.
No progress in what?
Progress in towards bhakti, towards love of the love.
Bhakti is called devotional service. It has got two parts. It has got devotion and it's got service. Okay, what is devotion? Devotion is to getting firmly attached to please that Supreme Lord. That is devotion. Give our time, give our energy and resources for pleasing the Supreme Lord. Okay, that is thought process now. Now, what is the service? Service is putting the thought process into action. That's why it's called devotional service. So, Shravanam should lead to higher and higher devotion service. That is when Shravanam is effective. Okay? So, Shravanam will lead to practice, which is devotion service. And after performing devotion service, contemplate what happens to your pride, what happened to your ahankar. Now, there's a bigger challenge. I'll give you examples. One devotee, after hearing, started to practice devotion service. Okay? She or he started to learn all the kirtans and all the bhajans and start to sing them very sweetly. People appreciated. So, the pride went up. Oh, I'm a great singer. I have a very special voice like a Gandharva. No one has. So, calling it transcendental, they started controlling that spiritual activity. That means, without their knowledge, they're converting, being on the transcendental plane, they're doing a material activity. Why? The pride is going. So, contemplation is important. Pride should not go up. Ahankar. There are two kinds of ahankar. The true ahankar, false ahankar. What is false ahankar? Thinking I am the cause of this activity is false ahankar. It can be spiritual, it can be material, no problem. It's still false ahankar. What is true ahankar? That I am a servant of Sri Krishna. If I am a servant, I am not cause of the activity. I am not the controller of the activity. I am just a menial servant. What does the servant do? He is instructed, he does it. There are some servants who are called servant leaders. What do? They help put service together and they help others also fall in line on the service. So there are only two kinds of dasyas. Pure servants or pure servant leaders. That's all. So, if that contemplation leads to understanding this, what is happening to me, then what happens? Yes, I heard Srimad Bhagavatam. I started to practice devotion, but I also kept my consciousness in check. Am I going the right direction or not? So if that is deviating, go back to hear Srimad Bhagavatam again. Why I am not able to practice it? Then our life becomes perfect, slowly evolving to perfection. This is important. You're able to understand the cycle of Shravanam?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Today in ISKCON, there are many devotees giving classes. Correct? Lots of devotees giving classes. So whom should I hear from? Ribol?
Whom I'm able to understand and longs to go for.
Whom you are able to understand and relate to? Okay. But is this choice one?
You have to see the parampara, Prabhu.
No, you're not giving direct answers. You're all giving indirect answers. Sorry?
So
Someone said
is it
something.
is it because of the content being discussed?
No. My question is very simple. Let me repeat the question. Yes, now I understood Prabhu, Shravanam must be heard. But from whom should I hear? Can I hear from my office colleague? No. Okay, there are many devotees who speak Srimad Bhagavatam. Can I hear from all of them or any one of them? What should we do? How should we think?
Prabhu, with the association of devotees, will come to know they are all the devotees of the Lord. From them, we can hear, Prabhu. Like every day we are getting Srimad Bhagavatam class, that morning 8 o'clock from IC Center. So that we are every day we are hearing, Prabhu. And morning classes, this like that, Prabhu.
Okay. So everyone is speaking on the topmost transcendental subject, which is good. But you should begin your day from Srila Prabhupada. You should begin your day with hearing from Srila Prabhupada. Then you should hear at least a few lectures from your spiritual master, whomever you consider to be your Diksha Guru. Then you hear from other devotees whom you feel comfortable, whom you feel is nourishing your heart. This is the way that which we should prioritize. So you should read or hear from Srila Prabhupada on a daily manner. And from your spiritual master through a time-managed process. And through other devotees where you have established some sort of understanding. So that way you can go on hearing. Now the reverse. Yes, I'm hearing from this devotee, that devotee here, that all those things, but I'm not hearing Srila Prabhupada. So there is a gap. Something hollow in our Shravanam. If you don't hear Srila Prabhupada's lectures or read his books. That is the key point I'm trying to make here. Is the point clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So a gap could be like, I have a pot which I fill water every day and I'll come. My job is to take the pot to the source of the water. I took it. My job is to clean the pot and fill the pot with water. Yes, I did it. My job is to carry that pot of water back to my home or to where I need it. Yes, I did it. But when I try to use the water from the pot, it is not present, or it is present in a very low value. Maybe the full pot is like 10 liters, but I got only half a liter. Why? Somewhere there's a hole in the pot. It means The whole process is done, but somewhere there is a gap. So when we introduce or when we have the nectarian message of Srila Prabhupada through his books or through his Vani, you see that gap is fulfilled. So you should hear Srila Prabhupada's lectures. If you find Prabhuji, English of Srila Prabhupada is difficult for me to hear, I'm not able to understand his English or whatever it may be, or his voice, then you can read his books. So today what is being done by the devotees are, whatever Vani that Prabhupada gave is recompiled in literature format, in books format. That means, let's say Prabhupada gave a lecture on Lord Chaitanya's appearance. So this lecture he could have given in Tokyo on this particular day, particular hour. That is now in the written format also. Devotees have translated it. And if anything is in written format, you can translate your own language and read it also. Right? So you can either do this or that method based on convenience. But connecting with Srila Prabhupada is a must on a regular basis. Am I establishing that point very clearly?
Yes, Prabhu. We'll do it, Prabhu.
Yes. And the beauty of the Acharya is all his lectures are only 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes, that's all. 90% of his lectures. So it means within a short period of time, you can finish one lecture of Prabhupada. Every day, it must be on your agenda, somewhere in the day. Then what happens? You're not only hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, but you're also receiving the mercy of the Lord through the Acharya. Yasya prasada bhavat prasado yasya prasada nagati kutopi. What does this mean? The mercy of the Lord is taken and fed to us in a digestible, in a simple format by the mercy of the Acharya. So that's what Prabhupada does. Okay? Another example I'll give you. Who wrote Srimad Bhagavatam? Vyasadeva. He compiled Srimad Bhagavatam with the instructions of his spiritual master, Naradaji. Okay. Now, when this Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, that Narada Muni, that Brahmaji, that Vyasadeva were present in that arena to hear. Now you may be wondering, Vyasadeva is the compiler of Srimad Bhagavatam, why he has to come to this place to hear when Sukadeva Goswami was teaching Parikshit Maharaj? Because when that Srimad Bhagavatam comes from the lips of Sukha, it is like a guava fruit, nicely big guava fruit, but it is very tasty. It's big in size, nectarian. But when that same guava fruit is bitten by a parrot, the sweetness of the guava increases. Right? Similarly, this same Srimad Bhagavatam, when it is presented and spoken by Sukadeva Goswami, the sweetness of Bhagavatam increases. So, to hear that deeper, greater nectar, the same compiler Vyasadeva sat to hear Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukadeva Goswami. So similarly, when that Bhagavatam is heard from Srila Prabhupada, the mercy, the sweetness increases so much. That is why we should hear from him. It is not information. Oh, I know about this. Oh, I know about this. No, it's not that. Just hear from him.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
When we get up in the morning, we have to do our chanting and all that. And actually to listen to Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj, it will be difficult. But what we get every day, we get the quotations of them. I read them, Prabhu, but I'm not listening to this thing because of the...
A morning schedule you're saying.
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. You can hear during lunchtime, during 11 o'clock, or in the evening. Somewhere, and it's only take 30 minutes. If you can squeeze somehow in your schedule,
Hmm.
you will be able to benefit.
Okay, Prabhu. You try, Prabhu. I'll do.
First is to desire. Okay. Anything that you want to achieve is to desire first. So when you desire something like this, the Lord sees the genuinity in your desire and makes way for it. Okay, this is what you have to understand, the pastime. There are two pastimes I'll tell you. You see how the Lord facilitates. Okay. The first pastime is Sanatana Goswami. Now, Sanatana Goswami used to do Rajamandala Parikrama every day. Yes, phenomenal. Brilliant consciousness while doing Rajamandala Parikrama. Chanting the names of the Lord. Continuously recollecting his pastimes, remembering him, did the Rajamandala Parikrama. Lord was pleased with him. But as time went, Sanatana Goswami could not complete the 64 miles. It was very big. And what is Vraja? We just read in the previous sloka, the form of Vraja or Goloka is in the form of a lotus. So the lotus, when it is opened, it is big. Right? But when the lotus is closed, it is small, maybe 1/3 the size or 1/4 the size. So what the Lord did, when Sanatana Goswami did the Rajamandala Parikrama, just like how the lotus closed, the Lord closed or shrank the Vraj. That Sanatana Goswami was able to complete it very easily. You see? His desire, the Lord made it happen. Okay. Gadadhar Pandit. So, in Puri, there is a place called Tota Gopinath. In Tota Gopinath, the Lord manifested as a big standing deity. Gadadhar Pandit used to come and worship every day. That Lord. But when Gadadhar Pandit got aged, he could not worship the Lord. He told, "Oh my Lord, slowly my back is bent. I'm unable to, stand and worship you because you're a tall deity. I cannot perform my Aratika Seva, the nice manner. Because of my age, I am now appointing another pujari who will come and perform your service." The Lord said, No. I will change the dynamics of this material life for you, that you continue your services, because I want to take service from you. I don't want to take service from anyone else. So what the Lord did, the next day when Gadadhar Pandit came to the temple altar to open, he saw that standing Lord became a sitting Lord. That Vigraha changed its posture from standing to sitting. Gadadhar Pandit was in tears. So he continued to serve the deity of Krishna, Gopinath, the Gopinath deity. So what do we understand out of this? Kala, time, every dimension is under the control of the Lord. If our desire is genuine, if our desire is persistent, what is meaning of persistent? Continuously. The Lord makes way for it. And you won't even know how it happens. That's the beauty of the Lord. I have personally experienced it. There's so many activities that I do. How is that I am able to do in 24 hours? Why I was not able to do in the past? I was so confused for several days. Mercy of the Lord. He makes things happen. What Mataji convinces you?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Any other questions?
But it is okay if we can read the books also, Prabhu, or Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to connect to Srila Prabhupada.
Yes.
And that consciousness must be very strong. Every day I have to connect to the founder Acharya.
Mm.
That consciousness must be very strong. If you
Sure.
don't have the consciousness, then it's difficult. So first is to develop that desire. And there are many ways to connect. You can connect.
Sure, Prabhu. I'll start from today.
Okay, excellent. Others, any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, we can read his Leelamrita also, no Prabhu?
Yes, you should read as Leelamrita. You should read. Okay, so today we were able to successfully establish through this one sloka, which is the sloka number that we did class today.
237 in Srimad Bhagavatam.
From Srimad Bhagavatam. So remember this sloka. I request each of you to go back in the course of the day. Please sit down and read the purport once again. Once you read the purport once again, it establishes firmly the message of this purport. And that establishment of that will help you to become stronger in your practices. Okay? So let's end the class here and we'll meet again next Saturday. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gurudev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari.
Pancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Tat Sat. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
That sloka you will do next time, Prabhu. That 2 slokas, Vasudeva Paran.
Yeah, I thought we can do it today, but looks like this only took a lot of time because I want to clearly establish.
Yes, sir.
Then what the next class or something class after that, what we will do is we'll understand the avatars, especially the Purusha avatar, how this happens, and under what context the sloka is being recited. So then we'll understand that.
Okay. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, it is second canto, second chapter, 36.
237.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Prabhu,
Prabhu. Dandavats pranam. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Please share this video, Prabhuji, in the group.
It's there in the Mataji. They will post it, Mataji.
They'll post it. Okay.
Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat pranam, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.